Shalom Aleichem Mishpochim. We are in chapter 5 of Chovos Halivavos, Duties of the Heart. And the author is Rabbi Bachya ibn Paquda. And let us begin. Chapter 5. This is talking about the unity of God and coming to know Him and acknowledging His unity. So we will begin chapter 5. There are three premises from which it can be deduced that the world has a creator who brought it into existence from non-existence. 1. A thing does not make itself. 2. Causes are limited in number. Since their number is limited, they must have a first cause, before which there is no other. 3. Anything that is composite was brought into existence. After these three premises are established, the inference to be drawn from them by one who knows how to apply them and combine them will be that the world has a creator who brought it into existence from non-existence, as will become clear with the help of God, from what we will explain. The demonstration of these three premises is as follows. Demonstration of the first premise. Anything that exists after not existing, anything that exists after having not existed cannot escape one of two possibilities. Either it made itself or something else made it. Likewise, anything we assume to have made itself cannot escape one of two possibilities. Either it made itself before it existed or after it existed. Both are impossible. For if we say that it made itself after it existed, it did nothing. There was no need for it to make itself, since it was already in existence, and so nothing was accomplished. If, on the other hand, we say it made itself before it existed, at that time it was nothing, and out of nothing can come neither action nor cessation or activity. It cannot do anything. It is impossible, then, for a thing to have made itself. This confirms the first premise mentioned above. So we have to come into reality and use our vision goggles and really look around. Do we see people just creating things out of nowhere? No. I'm willing to bet that not one person has witnessed such a thing. Do we see ourselves creating things from nothing? I'm willing to bet that we have not ever seen that happen. So putting something other than the creator himself as a created being is definitely foolish. Demonstration of the second premise. The demonstration of the second premise is as follows. Whatever has an end must have a beginning. The effect of a cause must have a first cause. For it is evident that what has no beginning has no end. It is inconceivable that a thing which has no beginning could traverse infinity to reach a point where its effect is observable to man. Wherever the effect of something is observable to us, we know that it had a beginning unpreceded by another beginning, a first cause, unpreceded by any other cause. When we observe the effects of the causes of that which exists in the world, we may conclude that they had a beginning before which there was no other beginning, a first cause before which there was no other cause. For there cannot be an infinite series of causes. Furthermore, it is obvious that anything that has a part has a whole. For the whole is but the sum of its parts. That the infinite should have a part is inconceivable, for a part is defined as one quantity separated from another, the smaller quantity being the measure of the greater, as noted by Euclid at the beginning of the 5th treatise of his book on geometry. Let us imagine a thing that is actually infinite and that we take away a part from it. What remains will no doubt be less than what it was before. Now, if this remainder is still infinite, then one infinite is greater than another infinite, which is impossible. If the remainder is finite, and we put back the part we took away, which is also finite, the whole will be finite. We had assumed at the start, however, that the whole was infinite. The same thing would then be finite and infinite, which is an impossible contradiction. It follows then that it is impossible to take away a part from that which is infinite, and that whatever has a part is mostly certainly finite. Now, of all the people who have ever existed in the world, if we should isolate in our minds part of them, those who lived between the time of Noah and the time of Moshe, our master, they would constitute a part of all the people who ever lived in the world. Their number is limited. Hence, the whole is also a limited number. Since the whole of this world is finite, its causes must also be limited in number. It follows, then, that this world has a first cause, before which there is no other cause, and, for this reason, the series of causes necessarily comes to an end with the first cause, as we have stated. Demonstration of the third premise. The demonstration of the third premise is as follows. Anything that is composite undoubtedly consists of more than one component. These components are prior to it in nature. So too, the one who put together the composite thing must have preceded it by nature and in time. Now, what is eternal has no cause. What has no cause has no beginning. What has no beginning has no end. What has a beginning is not eternal. What is not eternal has been brought into existence. For between that which is eternal and that which has been brought into existence, there is nothing that can be said to be neither eternal nor brought into existence. Consequently, anything that is composite is not eternal, for it had a beginning, and therefore must have been brought into existence. Since the third premise has been confirmed, all three premises have now been established. That was a tongue twister. Well, to be honest, there's two types of people in this world. Those who believe that there is a creator and those who don't believe in any form of creator, an infinite creator that exists. So how do you go about in realizing that, should we all have the same form of train of thought? I think this is speaking to someone who is believing, maybe speaking to everybody, but someone who already has a sense of, maybe it's not, maybe it's speaking to just the whole world, that things that we see with our eyes, things that we don't know where they came from, things that we see with our eyes and things that that man puts together. We'll just say the world, the material in this world, everything that is in this world has its source, whether it be material put together through fire from the earth, made into metal, made into glass, made into plastic, and that all comes from the earth, and the earth is also is finite. It's created by God, but if you look at a human being, you see that no man has put together a human being, and you can't say through birth that a man and a woman creates a son or a daughter. That's not the way you have to describe birth and pregnancy and children. You have to think that God, there is an ultimate infinite reality here, and that we have a God, we have a creator that put things on this earth, that created us all, that created this earth, and that put us on this earth. So it's just that we need to come to our senses, our natural senses that God put in us, because everything we need is within us, all of our tools is within us, including Hashem. And I hate to call Hashem a tool. It's not more of a tool in a negative form, but it's a tool that we need. He's a tool that we need. He's a source. He's the source of life that we need, the source of wisdom, source of knowledge, source of understanding, and source of comprehension, and that we need Him. We need to connect with that Creator that's within us, to realize these things, that He is the only one. There is only one Creator, and we have His Torah, we have His Word that speaks of His oneness, and that speaks of His creatorship, and that speaks of His divinity. So when you're living your life, when you're walking this earth, what's going on inside of you? Do you have a spiritual battle going on with inside of you? Are you empty and drought spiritually from within? What is it? So nonetheless, God is within us, whether we are spiritually empty, spiritually at war, spiritually driven positively. Nonetheless, we have a Creator that lives within us, that we all can attach ourselves to, learn from, gain wisdom from, receive life from, and know His oneness. To know Him, we can learn about Him, His oneness, and we can know that He is one, and that we are His created sons and daughters, children, and that we need to serve Him, and that we need to follow His directive, His commands and His laws. And it's simple. It all starts with a decision. I like to say that you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision. You can't be on the fence. You have to make a decision within your heart and soul. You cannot be on the fence. You have to choose. But you need to choose the good, and that is what matters in life, is what we choose. And what we choose is what makes us who we are. Laila Tov, have a wonderful evening.